Hello, everybody. Yet another Monday is upon us. Monday is my favorite day of the week, actually. I feel very good on Mondays. Completion of a week, and hey, we get the chance to do it again. Here's another week. Thanks for joining. We generally give everybody about a minute and then we get going. I want to answer more questions today because I will be away for 3 weeks after this. I'm getting married this weekend. And so I won't be doing lives until I believe it's August 5th, the next one. So I want to make sure that I answer all your questions, where you're at in your manifestation journey, reality creation, improving your mindset. It's all about the mind, right? I have a mystical but also scientific approach to this work. It's all about discipline. It's all about awareness. It's all about understanding what's already in your mind. And so that's sort of how my group is working. Hi guys. I'm so happy to see people from my group. You know, I also post this lives but I'm so happy that people are taking the time to log in and participate. And remember, like, if you leave a testimonial or if you say this work has been beneficial to you, you're helping other people, right? You're helping other people believe. A lot of people have been at this for quite a while and they're not seeing results. They're not seeing the results they want. It's time for a new approach. That's what this group is all about. It's a new approach and we hold each other accountable. But let's get going. You know, guys, I want to talk first just a little bit on the masculine and feminine dynamics, maybe take some questions about that. I've done a video on the masculine and feminine and money. A lot of people are talking to me about, oh, you know, how can I manifest money? Everybody can manifest money in a different way, right? And it depends if you're a man or a woman. It depends if you're masculine or feminine energy. And it's depending, of course, on your programming and many other things. But in terms of money and energy, I've done a video that did quite well, and it was called, I don't know, masculine, feminine ways of attracting money. You can only produce money in this world via strong masculine energy that works in 3D, because masculine energy is all about going after it, ambition, determination, getting the goal done. It's all about pushing through. Or you can attract money via a feminine energy that's set in receive mode, right? So it has to be set in receive mode. But what happens to a lot of women is that their energy is wavering in between this feminine and pseudo-masculine that they're forced to play out in their lives as, you know, they go through in the world in the day-to-day in corporate jobs and other kind of jobs. Florencia says the Facebook video from last Saturday was pure gold information for us. I'm happy you enjoyed it. I did the diagram with the peaks and the valleys and the iceberg with the energy. That's exactly how you have to think about. I won't do it here because it's just like for my group to understand better, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Guys, if you're part of my group, if you can't make my bi-weekly coaching, please absolutely watch it after. It's only posted in Facebook for 30 days only, and that's just to respect everyone's privacy because people are there under their real names the majority of times and they ask personal questions, so I would not post that anywhere. Let me see. I think there was a question about the 60-day challenge. If you're doing it in part of the 60-day challenge, how's the best way to do the entries? Because sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself. Always check your goals also at the top. Okay, check your goals at the top and just make sure the goals still ring true to you. When the goals are kind of forced, and I tell people all the time, are they your goals or are they general goals of the society? Okay, generally, oh, I want a relationship because everybody has one, or I want a home, everybody. When the goal is not truly uniquely deeply in you, what happens is you'll run out of ideas. When the goal is yours, when you truly want to get married because you know for a fact in your mind you have examples of good marriages or you have dreams of good marriages, you can easily imagine your life day to day around being loved, adored, sharing things, having a witness to your life, which is really what a spouse is, giving somebody to give meaning to your experiences so they're not lost just in your own mind and in your own. So you kind of like your mind contemplates all the ramifications of that goal that you have. Like, you don't want a goal just for the goal. You want a goal because you understand there's so much around it that vibes with the person that you are inside. So I would say if you find yourself stuck in coming up with new reinforcing affirmations for your goals, it's probably because your goals need refinement. Let's see. How can we stay in our feminine to receive? Okay, so what we talked a little bit on Saturday, but I'm happy to talk more about this, is it depends where you're at, right? So it really depends where you're at in life. And you have to sort of first do an assessment of your feminine, your current energy. Be like, okay, what is my current energy? Is it truly my energy, or is my energy what I need to embody to get through in the world, right? So a lot of people, like I said, have this fake masculine pseudo energy because when they go to work, they have to act a certain way. They have to be really strict in the way they speak, and they're not creative. They're not allowed to express themselves. They're not even allowed to express themselves in the way they look a lot of the times, right? Because there's a dress code, there's an exact schedule, there's all of this. So assess yourself as to, is this okay with my energy? Now, I'm not saying you should quit your job and you should, the job is detrimental to your state of femininity. It probably is. But you have to assess yourself to be like, okay, is it in line with my true feelings? Is it a little bit out of line? Is it a lot out of line? Or is it completely unaligned? Many times people think, my job, I hate my job. But if you ask them, why do you hate your job? Like, is your boss mean to you? They're like, no, my boss is not mean to me. They promoted me twice already. They did this. I hate it. I loathe it. I don't want to do it. And they can't really find a reason. It's sort of like their logical mind argues with them. They're like, you have a job. You can't give up this. You have a good job. Like, what are you complaining about, right? And so, but they hate it. They know, because innately there's something in them that doesn't align with the energy and the environment where they're at. Now, some people never realize this, and they live this lives of complete misalignment to the people they are. They never have a chance to express their potential. They never have a chance to be themselves. And unfortunately, if it was only at the job, that would be maybe okay. But what happens is they bring home this unhappiness, this lingering feeling that they're living like almost a fake life, if you want to think of it that way. They're living this fake life and they don't know what's wrong. They get home and they have a spouse and they have kids and they just don't know. They're always searching. They're searching for something else. They're searching for meaning, and they're cheating. They're saying a lot of women are cheating. They're looking for that true masculine in all this other displays of any man who displays some sort of assertiveness around them or goes for them, or I completely understand psychologically what is happening. And what women don't understand, that they're in this too pseudo masculine. So if her spouse is not masculine, not really masculine, she's in the pseudo masculine. It's just a very, very confusing energy. And unfortunately, that's the majority of couples. So what I advise women to do is sort of step back and be like, okay, I understand what's happening to me, and I don't have a choice right now, okay, because this is what I'm doing. I need this income. Or when I get home, okay, when I leave the office, I get in my car, what is it that I can do the moment I get in my car to tune back into my feminine energy? What are some practical steps that ring true to me that would help me disconnect? So for me, let's say it would be listening to some audiobooks that have nothing to do with anything. Like, I'm not interested in the news. I'm not into commercial music. I'm not into the radio. I don't like any of that stuff. I find it very dissonant. So I pick a topic that I'm interested in, and sometimes it's scientific, sometimes it's all sorts of, like, I have all sorts of topics of interest, and I just explore that topic, and it kind of like makes me disconnect, right? And so the moment you get to the grocery store, let's say after work, you look around and you look at the abundance that you're under, that not under, but that you're surrounded by, because there's an abundance of food, right? Like people get in there in scarcity competition mode. Look how much the price of cherries are. Look, just look around. If you're in North America, you look around and there's so much food, and you're like, wow, the earth is creating all this food. This is like, you know, you tune into everything that grows, that multiplies, that makes you connect to sort of like what you do in this world, right? You're the creative feminine in this world. And this is, you switch your mind from I don't have to look how much there is. Look how much there, and sort of when you give gratitude, give thanks, and if you do that enough, and if you practice this enough, you will fall into a different kind of energy. You get home, and usually the first thing people do is like, oh, the schedule. Let's see what to take 10 minutes. Go upstairs, take a shower, do something. Just be like, for the next 20 minutes, everybody knows they can leave you alone for 20 minutes. It's okay if your kids are on their tablets for 20 minutes before you get downstairs and give time to your family, because you got to reset, you got to clean. There's something to water that cleanses not just our physical body, but it cleanses the energy of the day. You know, so at least if you can't do that, just wash your face or splash water over your neck, or just do something that involves water, like water rituals. In our group, we have new moon meditations every new moon. Actually, that's the only astrological kind of thing I tie everything with. And you know, I do the shower, like I have that video, it's on TikTok somewhere. It's like a shower ritual with the water that you can do to transition into the new you. And so you have to have whatever practices for you that are sacred, right? They're sacred. You're creating in that. This work, this mindset work, this affirmations that you're doing, it can't be just like, oh, you know, I have a meeting 2 to 3, but right now it's 1:55 and I have 5 minutes to do my affirmations, and you know, I'm gonna set my timer for it. That's not how to do it. The way to do it is like, now this is my space, and I call it my secret space. That's why I even say, don't tell anybody that you're doing the work if you're doing it with me, because it has to be your space and your space alone, unpolluted by the thoughts of the world, by what the world thinks of whatever it is you're doing. Nobody should ask you about it. Whatever you want to share, you should share with other people who are doing it. You know, that's why I formed this group. But again, it's whatever you want to share. And it's, if you don't want to share anything, that's fine too. I don't even know how we got here. Oh, it was about the masculine, feminine. I'm just gonna stop and see if there are some questions. Let me just, I don't know if my moderators here, because I don't like when people put stupid comments on my lives. I find this lives to be educational, and I want to keep it very pure. So I have to block somebody who said writing small paragraph around the entry is a good practice, and I applied that through. Yeah, I've done that for about 2 iterations when I did my own 60-day challenge. Right now I journal on other things, but I still do the challenge every day. I have people who've been in this group. They've been doing it for a year. The testimonial that I read on the last live, that queen who completely like started to travel, transformed her business, transformed like everything she wrote out in the challenge came true. You can read it in the Facebook group. I'm unbalanced. This is such a, okay. So I just wanted to see if there was any questions on the masculine and feminine. Guys, there's nothing more important in life, actually for men and women, but I generally just address women. There's nothing more important in life than the partner that you're going to choose. There's nothing. That person can build you. He's not going to build you. Provide the space for you to build yourself, or he's going to destroy you. And I told you guys, I don't mind repeating this, that a man is never, ever a net neutral. He's either a net positive or a net negative. A partner will both give to you and take from you. But the net, okay, the minus between what he gives and what he receives, it should be a net positive to you. Why? Because you need to, so if you're alone in the world, let's say you're single, and you have to do everything on your own, right? So you want to maintain your femininity, you have to pay your bills, you have to, you know, maybe take care of children, whatever you have to do. You are in the pseudo-masculine energy already. And if another man comes in and he doesn't provide the space for you to get out of the pseudo-masculine, he's probably going to give you a reason to become more in the pseudo-masculine. Believe me. Believe me. So it's never going to be a net neutral. It's never going to be, I guess this is okay for now. You're either going to become happier and you're going to blossom and you're going to go a lot further than you can go on your own, or you're going to go the other way. One of these things is going to happen when you have a partner. The partner that you choose, the man that you choose, will also show your level of self-respect. And I have come to understand throughout the years, throughout talking to a lot of people, that self-respect is completely different than self-love. Are we together on this? Okay, they're saying, oh, you gotta love yourself more, you gotta love yourself more. Self-respect is something completely different than self-love. Okay, my self-love may be, I love myself, I'm gonna, get my nails done, I'm gonna go to the spa, I'm gonna take care of myself, I'm gonna eat this donut because I really love it and it's gonna make me feel good. I'm loving myself, right? I'm pampering myself. But self-respect is something completely different. And self-respect is like, I set a goal and I'm taking every action to achieve that goal. And if I'm not taking every action to achieve that goal, I'm cheating myself. And that's disrespectful. And if I'm cheating myself out of a certain treatment, I will probably allow another person to treat me that way also, because that's how I treat myself. If I'm not disciplined myself, and if I'm not organized myself, somebody coming into my life, I might think it's okay for him to not stick to what he promised, to not show up when he said he would show up, to not do all these things, because I also treat myself that way, right? So all of a sudden, self-respect is all about having boundaries for yourself on how you live life. And when you decide how it's going to be for you, just for you, in that box that you define how it's going to be, like this is how Mona's days will look like, right? And of course, unexpected things can happen and you deal with them, and that's not what I'm talking about. But the day-to-day thing, if Mona always keeps her promises to herself, then there is no chance somebody could enter her life and stay while he's not meeting the same requirement, because she's not used to broken promises. She doesn't break them, and she'd be like, what the hell is this? Goodbye. Do you know what I'm saying? So in this sense, what you attract in your life shows your own level of self-respect that you have for yourself. This is because, a lot of women do come in and they complain a lot about men. Believe me, if all women had a defined box of requirements and stuck to it, all men will change, because they can't live without us. The truth is, they can't live without us, but they would do whatever they can get away with. So you have to be aware that this is what is happening. Now, accepting bad behavior in general from anybody, okay, it's usually from the spouse, but from your kids, accepting bad behavior from your boss, maybe constantly berates you, it's all of this goes into your subconscious. And you might affirm, I am wanted and loved and adored, all you want, but if in your behavior day to day you allow this, what's going to happen is your subconscious cares more about what you do than what you write down. So what you write down, what you affirm, all of these meditations that you're doing, all this vision of the new you that you're doing, it doesn't stand a chance if you don't act in a different way in your life. And for the majority of people, acting in a different way means, because their life is so filled with junk, emotional junk, social junk, news and thought junk all around them. Okay? If you don't get away from that, the new you has no chance of emerging. Like I told you, all of these possibilities that they're talking about, quantum jumping and all of these possibilities, they exist. First of all, they're not infinite, but that's besides the point. There's a lot of them. There's like a number that for you can consider it infinite, but it's not infinite. They're all just calculations of what you would do next, of what you are most likely to do next. Just calculations. So the system will calculate, the fact that she would continue to see this guy is 98%, even if he doesn't text today. And the fact that she's not going to see this guy and she's going to walk differently, speak differently, employ a different tone, and go out somewhere right now at some event and meet another guy is 2%, right? And so the system, your thought pattern, the thoughts that create your reality, all they do is they enforce a probability of an event. But this has a very heavy probability based on your past actions. And so this kind of like unfolds. You're like, how come I'm affirming and nothing is happening and nothing is happening? Your probability here of continuing the same life you have has huge weight. That's why. It's like hugely weighted by the fact that you never make different decisions from the person that you are today, from that person that got cheated on, that got, abused, abandoned, always mistreated, always rejected. It's still that person that's in charge making these decisions. So nothing can change. Right? There's too much weight to these probabilities than the other ones. You love my new profile picture. Thank you so much. Let's see. Any questions on that? Sometimes I'm accused, people get on the live, it's no point to have a live if you're not going to take questions. Then I present the material, nobody's asking questions. I'm okay with whatever you guys want, but don't complain then. If you just joined, I will be away for 3 weeks. Keep that in mind. And so the next live will be August 5th, I think. Logan, you're so sweet. You're all taking notes. Okay, what else did I want to talk about today? I want to talk about just a reminder on the mind, what the mind is. I want to leave you with this to contemplate over the next few weeks before I'm back. I want you guys to remember that your mind is not your friend. We talked about this before, but please keep this in your awareness. Your mind is actually an enemy. If I had to give it a name, okay, it's an enemy. So your mind, you're thinking, oh, I think positively, or I'm thinking right now. You're probably not thinking. What's probably happening is that thoughts are happening to you. It's like you're saying, oh, I'm beating my heart. You're not beating your heart. It's happening to you, right? So then thoughts in your mind are also happening to you. So when you say, I think, thank you. Stop and ask yourself, am I really the one in charge here? Am I really the one thinking, or have I absorbed the thought that I saw on TV, or absorbed some information that I heard about the way things should be? Oh, this is a hookup culture, and now I think this is a hookup culture. I think, or these thoughts are happening to me, right? Because if you don't have this self-analysis, self-introspection, everybody should do the questionnaire that I put out in my bio. Everyone should do that. To me, it's worth like at least 1 hour in self-discovery therapy kind of thing. So are your thoughts really your own is the question. Now the mind doesn't have a brake. It's just like a car that just has the gas pedal. There's no brake. So for you to brake the car, it takes immense force of projecting yourself outside the mind and sort of pushing the car from outside to a stop. Anybody who's done meditation knows this. Anybody if I asked you right now, hey guys, let's sit here for 5 minutes and we're not going to think about anything. Just 5 minutes. How many people do you think are going to be able to do that? I know I won't be able to do that. Like, how many people can be like, oh yeah, I'm the one who thinks, so I'm in charge. If I think, I can stop thinking, right? I can just stop thinking. I can sit there for 5 minutes I could just press the brake. You can't press the brake, right? You really can't. It keeps going. It's happening to you, right? So all of a sudden in this work, what you're doing is, A, you're trying to understand why it is the way it is. B, you're trying to see how much that's in there, it's really you, and how much are other people's thoughts, the world's thoughts and opinions. Scientists estimate we have about 60,000 thoughts per day. 60,000 thoughts, okay? And that we need about 15% of it. 15% are required to operate in the world from the thoughts you think in the same life that you have right now. The rest is, if you got rid of 85% of your thoughts, you would live the same life. They're not necessary. They're not necessary. But if they're negative, they're doing damage. So it's not that they're just not necessary. Do you meditate? I meditate almost every day. I meditate, I would say 6 days a week, for sure. You have to. You have to do something to disconnect from the world. If you're religious, this is called prayer, right? You have prayer is kind of, it's not the same thing as meditation, but it's disconnecting your focus from the world. Hard to control negative thoughts coming in. When I recognize it, I say stop and change my thoughts. You know, Sandra, I've had this practice for a few years now, where if I see myself and if I catch myself in a negative scenario, I'm like, I don't even say stop. I say, this is not mine. It's not my thought form. Go back to wherever you came from. It's not generated by my spirit. This isn't my thought form. That's what I say. And I find that very effective. How can we ignore what our parents say to us in their opinion? Or like stepmoms, you will, I don't know how old you are, but, you know, I don't think most of my audience is worried about their stepmoms and what their opinion is. But I'll tell you that no matter how old you get, okay, there's still stuff that our parents may say to us, especially our mothers, that are, you know, quite hurtful and quiet, you know. And so I struggled with that although my mom's an awesome mom. It's just, she's very critical. You know, she's a perfectionist. She's very critical. The way I kind of handle that is I realize that she has good intentions. By the way, if somebody has bad intentions, they shouldn't be in your life. But she has good intentions, you know, and she understands this world and this reality through the prism of her own experience, right? Because none of us, when we understand the world, none of it is true. Like, nobody has a vision of the world as it truly is. Nobody, right? Because you have a filter. You have a filter of your programming. You have a filter of what's happened to you. You have a filter of, like, your own fears, guilt, shame, what you love and what you hate. It's all personal, right? So the way you would interpret a behavior would be very different than, let's say, the way your stepmother or your mother would interpret that behavior. And so me, as I've gotten older, you know, let's say when I was 22, it would really bother me what she'd say to me. But she would only say it because she wanted me to have a better life or a good life or what have you. Right now, I'm just understanding it. I'm just understanding, and I'm not implementing her advice. I'm just, yeah, I get it why she thinks that way. That's all. It's just an observation. It's not, it can't touch me. You know what I mean? Like, it can't touch my energetic system. Let's see. I always say to my mom has good intention, but she sees it from her perspective. When you deal with narcissistic people, they definitely push you into your masculine. Probably. There's only one way to deal with narcissistic people, right? It's that is to completely cut off every communication you have with them. It's the best advice. And sometimes that's not possible because maybe you have kids together. But once you get rid of a narcissist, you should never speak to them again. If you need to communicate about kids, should be just email, should be just, you know, there's a lot of trauma that a narcissist leaves in your life, but only if you let them. And unfortunately, the reason you let them is because of your own ignorance of what is happening. It's really difficult because when you realize what's been happening to you, what happens is you're angry with him, but you're also angry with yourself for not having seen it sooner, for not having dealt with it sooner. Advice to be more confident, high self-esteem. There's so much advice on that. I would say you never compete for anything. Number one, you never compete for anything, and don't compare yourself with, well, obviously with anything you see on social media. You don't need my advice on that, right? Because you know it's all like fake in terms of pictures and what have you. But then also compare yourself to women like you, women who look like you, women who are around your age if you're going to compare yourself to anything, right? It's easy to look at an accomplished woman and be like, oh, why don't I have that? But her whole, if she didn't have the same trajectory that you had, you can't, it's not comparing apples to apples. You got to understand what true comparison really is. There is people you can learn from, and you can compare in a sense, okay, what is she doing in this situation to get to this other point? I want to implement that. And there's comparison that just hurts. She's just there because she had a supportive partner and you had an abusive father. And you could have never gotten there from this situation. You understand? That's why. You never compete, you always create. I'm the one who's creating. I am beautiful. If I don't feel beautiful, I'm going to change anything that's in my power to make me feel beautiful in 3D world. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that either. Okay, but it's only to please yourself. It's never because somebody else is doing it. It's none of that. And you become more confident by understanding that everything works out all of the time if you get out of the way. If you just, nobody can take what is yours. If somebody does take what is yours, it means, hang on a second, was I in the wrong? Like, why was I thinking that, you know, I would have access to this thing? Is there a job that's better suited for me? Is there a man that's better suited for me? Is that what errors in my thinking have I constantly, I want to improve. I want to improve. If you just want to stay at the same level and have high confidence, it's probably not possible. Why? Because the person you are today is not confident. So you got to almost become her. You got to become someone else. Someone else makes different decisions. Someone else thinks differently, perceives the world differently. You can't, there's a good business book I read a long time ago, but this title stuck with me for years. It said, you can't get there from here. So from the point where you are today, you can't get there, where you see yourself. There's an in-between states of you. You know, the quantum jumping is very small, and it's all based on different free will decisions that you can make. I don't think there was anything else. We talked about masculine, feminine. I want to talk a little bit about energy. Let me see what I had here. So people ask me about energy, about if it's unlimited, about what's flowing through us, and you know, what is it that, why we feel tired, why we feel. So I want to tell you something. When they say energy is unlimited and you're working with unlimited energy, energy is like air. Okay, air is all around us, and even though, you know, it's not infinite, it's finite to this planet, but every organism on this planet is free to use as much air as it can process through its apparatus. And energy is the same thing. Your apparatus, your body, not only your physical body, but your energetic body combined with your physical body will determine how much of this creative energy you can channel through. Okay? You can't channel infinite. You can channel a huge amount. And it's very, very personal to each individual. Now, if you are carrying the weight of the world on you via, in your mind, it's the war, it's the election, it's the economy, it's the fact that your job may lay you off. It's things that, like this, that you can't control. If you find that your mind is constantly on things you can't do anything about, right? You can't determine the outcome of. There's no energy coming in. There's no space for it, because it's like a huge cap that's sitting on you. It's like called the weight of the world. It's even called that in religion, right? That's why they tell you to look to God, to just, this kind of dissipates when you look to God. And so if you're doing that, or if you live an inauthentic life, which is what we talked about in the beginning with the masculine energy. If you live an inauthentic life, your whole energetic system, your whole matrix is messed up. And so the energy may be coming through, but it's unfocused, it's foggy, it's not really, it doesn't have the space to go because your apparatus is no longer the apparatus you were born with, right? Like your whole system is fake. You corrupted it. It's not in a state of flow. You guys understand what I'm talking about? I see that people are hanging on to this live, but I get no commentary. And I just want to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. The intention to manifest anything you have in mind, to set a goal, that intention must be unique, clear, steady, and complete. Okay? It has to be very, very defined, or the results will be extremely foggy. Sometimes you'll get something, sometimes you don't get something. You're like, how does this work? What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I'm doing? How can I do this? How can I? No. Go back to you. Is my intention clear, complete, steady, concise? Is my system that's processing this intention and it's processing information do I feel like myself? Like, I have to feel like myself 90% of the time. Okay, sometimes you can't really be yourself. Sometimes maybe you go to your child's school and you have to pretend something's okay when it's not. I understand. We can't always be ourselves and be like, hey, F you, I don't like this. You can't, because we live in a society. 80-90% of the time you have to be you. And this is why I talked about jobs and masculine, and because your job occupies so much of your time, and if at your job you're not you, it's a huge problem. Yeah, you're saying it is like going somewhere without an address and just start driving. Yeah, if your intention isn't clear. But it would be good if the system would say you can't go anywhere without an address. But unfortunately, the system of life will let you go there. And you don't know where you're going to end up. The system will let you drive aimlessly. 100%. Just let you. It will unfold the script of your life. Based on what? Based on the probabilities that we discussed. And what are the probabilities based on? Your past choices. Your past free will choices. So your life is more of what it was yesterday, the day before, the week before. Your relationship was very likely to turn out like your last relationship. Unless you keep intention steady, goal steady, unless you know where it's going. If you're like, let's see where this goes, it will go the same place your last one went. We have to take the time to connect and live in the now. I have trouble slowing down. At least you identified it, Sandra. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly affirmations, mindset. This kind of work is not something you do when you have 5 minutes in between you being rattled by the world. To be authentic is to forget what was taught by our family, society, to free ourselves of habits, I guess. Yeah, unless those habits are very like you. Like, there's a lot of people that, not a lot, I don't know, that the life their parents lived is ideal for them too. Are those people allowed to live their authentic lives? Like, I know a woman in my life that her mom was, her dad was a great provider. Her mom was a stay-at-home mom. She had such a happy childhood. And, like in her teens, her father passed away, like she had to help out her mom. All that life that her mom had, she always thought she was going to have. And now she's in her late 20s and she's desperately thinking, am I really going to have access to this life? Because all I've done since I was 19 is work full time to help out my mom and, and do all these things. So that's also like unauthentic, right? Because society, like, it's very complicated. It's not enough to say, oh yeah, we need to forget everything we've been taught. You have to really understand, has what you've been taught, is it you? Is it you? Maybe you are one of those lucky ones that what you've been taught is actually you. It makes sense. It's good for you. It makes you feel at home and at peace, and it's great. For those that's dissonant with, you have to have the courage to be like, this is completely dissonant with me. is like my mother's advice to me. It's completely dissonant with me, right? But it doesn't really matter if I listen to it or not. I listen to it because I don't have the heart to cut her off, you know, let's say. But it doesn't. I've learned how to not let it matter to me, right? I have to be mega authentic. And by the way, you can manifest all sorts of things even from an inauthentic space if you tune in long enough to your desire and you give it enough energy. As I told you, like your apparatus may clear for a few seconds during a meditation, during maybe doing this work with our group, and then you get what you want. How are you going to sustain it? Do you guys not know all the stories of all the people who attract either money but they can only do it one time? Or, you know, the SP comes and goes 5, 6, 7 times. So it's attracted, can't sustain it. Can't sustain it. Can't sustain it. They're the same person as yesterday. So take this work very seriously, I would say. It can really change everything in your life. You can't change even 1% of what it can do for you with no effort, with just changing and taking inspired action. Why do I say inspired action? Inspired action doesn't take much effort, or doesn't take any. It doesn't even feel like work. Now I want to talk about. I think we have 15 more minutes, and I want to make sure I get to this. My group, if you're part of my group, I'm gonna leave you the homework in the group, but it's gonna be more than this. But I want you guys to work on, before I come back, issues that you need to resolve. And what are these? These are different than your goals. We all have in our lives some issues you need to resolve. Between now and the end of the year, I bet you can come up with at least 5 issues you need to resolve. And I want you to have this list very clear in your mind of the issues that will be cleared between now and December 31st. Sometimes they're small things. How often am I live? Every Monday at 12, but I'll be back August 5th because I'm going away for the next 3 weeks. If I want peaceful and joyful marriage, I need to feel the feeling, not manifesting specific SP. Correct. Go through my SP list. By the way, when I did the work that way, my SP came to me and we became engaged relatively shortly, within 9 months. Yeah, so I'm live every week, and I'm live in my group answering. That's more like group coaching because I answer people's personal questions every 2 weeks. And guys, I want to talk about the 7 deadly sins. You guys know what they are? Do you guys know what the 7 deadly sins are? If you're religious, if you're not religious, you all heard of this. I'm going to talk about them in this context. Okay? 7 deadly sins are vanity, pride, greed, lust, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Gluttony. Lena, you know which one is your biggest problem, I guess? Everybody thinks of their biggest problem when they think. If you come from, I don't know if this is any in other religions, but this 7 deadly sins, they're from the Christian religion. And they tell you these are 7 deadly sins. They're deadly. They're deadly to the soul, okay? I want to talk about them and talk about what's going on here and how they're preventing you. So a lot of this religious text, they have meaning that's esoteric, that's being lost in the dogma, okay? So I'll take them one by one. You guys let me know what you think. Okay, so vanity is all about the ego, and it's all about, like I talked to you guys, every energetic system fights for its survival. So your vanity is your sense of identity, and so in this vanity that you have, you're keeping status quo. You can't change anything, because to be vain means to be very defined by your ego. You are who you are. If you hear people say this all the time, well, this is how I am. Well, take it or leave it. This is what that is vanity. Being very vain, it doesn't necessarily mean showing off your Gucci purse. Vanity is a reinforcement of self-identity. And so this is deadly for manifestation of something that's completely outside what's currently happening in your life, right? Because your ego, you got to become a different person to have that different life trajectory. And vanity will keep you wherever it is, whatever it is, this person that you are today, who can only have the things that you have today. Number 2, pride. Pride is this refusal to see a scenario outside of your own perspective. Okay, that's what pride is. Pride is, no, I know what happened here. I'm not gonna apologize. I'm not going. You never stop to think, what else could this mean? What else could this mean? You know, it's just, forget my pride. Like, I understand something happened here, but how can I see this through a perspective where I'm not lowering my self-worth? Like, how can I see this person rejecting me in, hey man, maybe I didn't, like, I'll choose to think something else. This guy, he didn't respond to me, I blocked him, but I choose to think, you know, his mother died. Or I choose to think it wasn't about me. It's not, you know, my pride, it's not, hang on a second, it's probably incorrect. It's probably my pride is giving me the wrong thought that's lowering my own self-worth. Let's think about this. So that's number 2. Pretty bad. Number 3, greed. Greed comes from a sense of lack. Greed is very bad. It's the accumulation of, I need to accumulate things because there won't be enough later. Okay, you can't both live in this abundant universe where you're creating your own reality and be greedy. You can't do both, because they're 2 different instructions into the formless substance. They're 2 different things, right? If you're greedy, it means I have to hang on to what I have and I have to put more on top, because if I don't, what if your needs are always met? What if you had this belief that you don't even have to save $2 million to retire on because you're always taken care of? Can you really sustain this thought in your mind that you will always be taken care of by the universe, by God, by the energy that transforms into material possessions? That's all. This is materialized energy, everything that's around us. Can you really bring yourself to believe that? Hey guys, it's not easy. So greed comes from a sense of lack. Every time you feel greedy, you're like, it's not enough. Even with food, we do it often. Okay, have I taken enough? That's from a sense of lack. Number 4, lust. Self-explanatory. Lust is actually probably not that dangerous, but lust is very grounding. So when you're trying to manifest things from it, also like when you're lusting over, let's say something somebody else has, is not necessarily sexual lust. When you're lusting over something somebody else has, it's sort of, you're automatically competing, you know? And so if I see a Lamborghini on the road, well, now I'm at a level where I'm not even, wow, it's not something I would notice or I want for myself. Get it? Because it doesn't match with me personally. And so I'm not lusting over that. Also not lusting about a lot of other things I used to maybe lust over. The more lust you can remove, lust, desire, right? The more you drop desire, that means the least importance you put on those things. And the easiest it is to attract things that do match with you. Okay? Analyze your lust. Analyze if it comes from your own soul or it comes from what the world tells you to want. Analyze that. See where it's coming from. Number 5, gluttony. Lena, where you're at. Gluttony, my God, me, if I have a sweet tooth, okay? I have nothing in the house, okay? Now we had a lot, because, you know, this wedding and everything, we had so many events, and I know the next week is just gonna be like sugar damage, right? It's intense in me, this gluttony, right? It's not for food in general, but if we have sweets, I feel the need to. So I lived alone not alone with my daughter for many years, and luckily my daughter doesn't like any sweets. If I bought anything in the house, I would eat it. If I didn't have it, I would not go buy it. Get it? So let's say it's jam. If I have a jar of jam, I'm going to finish it in a week. But I just never buy it. Okay? So, guys, understand that temptation with food and with lust sometimes, especially for men, it's much easier to not have it in your life than to resist it. I have nothing sweet in my cupboards on purpose, right? If gluttony is your problem, do not do your grocery shopping once a week. Gotta get little things 4 times a week. Only what you're going to eat. Food is a hugely grounding thing. It doesn't allow your etheric energy to focus on other things, because digestion is the biggest energy consumptor. The consumption of energy required to digest is immense. And so this energy, instead of allowing you to have more energy to stop your thoughts, to meditate, it's constantly going in here. Okay, but the first 2 chakras, and it's all about lack. Let me get more, and you're constantly digesting and processing and using your apparatus for things that are not important, right, to your spiritual growth. Please, guys, if you're part of my group, for new moon, I do say it's optional to fast, but I want everybody to fast. Okay, really, the intention is for everybody to fast for that day. You can have maybe like 3 juices, but if you can't train your body to not eat for 1 day, but you think that you can actually stop your mind from thinking negative thoughts, you're in for a big surprise. If you can't even control your body, how are you going to control your mind? If you think it's hard not to eat, wait until you see how hard it is to change your thoughts. So, guys, yeah? Promise? Who's promising to fast next new moon? August 3rd, 5th, something like this. It's so hard, yeah. Who's promising? Yes? Lena? Just Lena and me? Valerie? Logan, okay, okay. How many days? Just the day of the new moon. And then we do our meditation, our new moon meditation. You wake up and I generally just have 3 juices. And that's it. I try to do just a water fast 1 day. I got a headache. So I actually have 3 juices and 2 coffees, okay? I tried to do it without coffee and I wasn't myself. My meditation didn't go well. Even that's hard, huh? So just no food. Sandra, promise? Georgetta? Okay, good, guys. Thank you. We increase our strength, believe me. If you fast 1 day a month, you will see a huge difference. You did it last new moon and had a mental breakdown. A lot of stuff has to come out. A lot of stuff. We have to face the unpleasant before you face the focus. Okay? And a lot of your dreams, if you're part of my group, will be disturbing before they are instructional from your subconscious on how to get your goals. But by the way, if you physically didn't feel well, that's totally different. That's like me when I did the water fast. I knew it wasn't for me because like I think I need the coffee and I need some minerals in me, but I can completely give up food. That's fine. You fast on chocolate. All right, I want to cover the last 2 before we go. Wrath, number 6, wrath, which is anger. That's the opposite of controlling your reactions to 3D. That doesn't need too much explanation. If things can easily stimulate your anger, you're not close at all. You're reacting to 3D. The more you're reacting to 3D, that's how you know you're reacting. It's mostly angry because everything's negative around us. If you're angry at everyone, you're angry at people you don't even know. You're angry at the president of Russia. You're just angry. You're angry. You're angry at things you can't control. You're just angry. You're angry at your ex you haven't seen for 3 years. He was a narcissist. You're just not. You need peace and harmony inside first before you can project anything clear, concise, steady, and complete. And finally, sloth. Sloth is this attitude of, it's sort of like the opposite of diligence, right? It's the opposite of persistence. It's the opposite of discipline. Sloth. It's just this giving up, kind of like, ugh, whatever the day goes, I don't have a plan on what to eat. I don't really like, I'm lazy right now. It's more than laziness. It's just really the opposite of discipline. This work is about disciplining the mind. And if you find yourself in a state of sloth, you're not close. So any of these things, guys, any of these things you identify in yourself, you don't have to give religious meaning to everything, right? But there's a lot of hidden, really great knowledge in all the teachings of the world, including religious teachings. So remember, if you catch yourself vanity, pride, greed, lust, gluttony, wrath, or sloth, it's affecting what you're able to project out there into the formless substance. We have to work against this on a daily basis. It's not like all of a sudden you're gonna wake up and you're like, I'm no longer any of these things. No, awareness is you recognize yourself in those things. Procrastination is sloth, Adam. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the opposite of discipline. It's the opposite of perseverance. It's the opposite of ambition. And you as a man, you're a man, right? You need to project the true masculine. True masculine is a doer. So procrastination is against your being into your masculine energy. How do you fight procrastination? Via self-respect. You make a promise to yourself and you respect it. And if you don't respect the promises that you make to yourself, nobody's going to respect you, Adam. Women are not going to respect you. The world is not going to respect you. Your value is not going to increase. And if you love Adam, if you love yourself, if you respect yourself, you got to understand that you got to give your apparatus, your body, your persona things to do. What things you have to give them to do? Things that fulfill the desires of your spirit. Things that take Adam in the direction of his life path. Guys, thank you so much for... My account is about, I want to say about 14 months old. And incredible things have happened in this last 14 months. I'm getting married on Saturday. Thank you so much for all the congratulations, and you've been there for me. I will be back on August 6th with a live. Generally, I'm live every single Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All of my lives are posted on my YouTube channel if you want to watch some of the old ones. I can't wait to be back and tell you more about it. And I probably won't be doing any videos until then. I wish you guys, I will leave you, if you're part of my group, I will leave you with instructions on what's to be done over the next few weeks. And I wish the happiness that I feel in general about my life, the sense of accomplishment, the sense of love, the sense of, you know, that the best days are really ahead of me. I wish that on everybody in this world, and definitely on all the queens and kings in my group. And the challenge for this week will be posted in the Facebook group. Thank you so much, guys. Let's put our hands together for the 369. I'm a winner. This is a 30-second practice. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.